हेलो एंड वेलकम टू योर डिजिटल क्लासरूम स्टडी विद सुधीर। स्टडी विद सुधीर की डिजिटल कक्षा में आपका स्वागत है। आई एम टी एस सुधीर एंड आई होप यू आर डूइंग वेल। वी आर इन द मिडल ऑफ जनवरी, which means you still have close to 5 weeks, at least 5 weeks before the exams actually start. I don't know why many of you are feeling so tense. There is a lot of time, so take a deep breath, relax for the time being, do everything systematically. Yes, अगर आप उस तरह के विद्यार्थी हैं, उस टाइप के विद्यार्थी हैं जो कि सिर्फ 2-2.5 घंटा पढ़ना चाहते हैं हर रोज, तब तो दिक्कत है, हमारा बैंडविड्थ मैच नहीं होगा। You need to up it to at least 7 to 8 hours per day and systematically break down every subject, physics, English, history, geography, सबको break down करो कि मैं हर रोज इतना चैप्टर इस सब्जेक्ट का करूंगा। वीक बाय वीक या 3-4 दिन का टाइम टेबल बना लो, टारगेट सेट करो, ट्राई टू मीट दोस टारगेट्स। इनफैक्ट इफ यू कैन बेटर दोस टारगेट्स, इवन बेटर। ये कोशिश आपकी रहनी चाहिए। ओके, तो अब मैं आता हूं, जो मैंने प्रश्न कल के वीडियो में पूछा था वो ये था कि क्या आप चाहते हैं कि मैं हर पोएम का और हर स्टोरी का, जो कि आपके इंग्लिश लिटरेचर में ट्रेजर ट्रोव में है, 10 पोएम और 10 स्टोरीज, उसके प्रमुख प्रश्न दूं। अब प्रश्न जब मैं देता हूं, हाँ, ये काफी सारे प्री बोर्ड्स के पेपर्स में से ले गए हैं, कुछ मैंने खुद बनाए हैं, क्योंकि पिछले साल के पेपर को तो देखने का फायदा नहीं है, क्योंकि सिर्फ एक साल ही ट्रेजर ट्रोव से पेपर आया है। तो the basic idea of these questions would be that I am going to present now, and I'm going to do it in 4 video lessons, 5, 5, 5, 5, is to basically help you be better prepared with those poems and questions. ऐसा नहीं है कि जो प्रश्न पूछा गया है वही प्रश्न उसी शब्द, the way it is worded, it will come. No, it may not happen like that. But अगर आप उन 4-5 प्रश्नों को पूरी तरह से तैयार कर लेंगे तो कोई भी प्रश्न तोड़ मरोड़ के आए, you will be able to feed that information into your answers. Okay, so the idea is to have you better prepared. अब पहले शुरू करने से पहले मैं आपको एक बात और बता देना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि कुछ विद्यार्थियों ने यह पूछा है कि प्लीज टेल अस सर हाउ टू काइंड ऑफ बी बेटर, राइट दोस आंसर्स बेटर, हाउ टू राइट बेटर इन द इंग्लिश लिटरेचर आंसर्स। ये कई सारे विद्यार्थियों ने पूछा है। इसमें 2 बातें हैं। फर्स्ट, रूल नंबर 1, डोंट ओवर कॉम्प्लिकेट। आपसे कोई बहुत फैंसीफुल शशि थरूर जैसी लैंग्वेज लिखने की उम्मीद एग्जामिनर नहीं कर रहा है। आपको काफी सरल भाषा में, इन वेरी सिंपल लैंग्वेज, यू शुड राइट योर आंसर्स। डोंट ओवर कॉम्प्लिकेट, डोंट राइट वर्ड्स विच यू नीड, the examiner needs to refer to the dictionary. Okay, so write simple language and get to the point straight. Dusra point, in fact I have 3 points to make. The second point is, if the question is about, what is the author referring to in this particular poem, get into it straight away. उसका एक लंबा सा preamble बांधने की कोशिश बिल्कुल मत कीजिए। Get to the point straight. Okay, ये हो गया दूसरा पॉइंट। तीसरा पॉइंट, एंड दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, कीवर्ड्स, कीवर्ड्स, कीवर्ड्स। ये मैं हर वीडियो लेसन में आई हैव बीन एम्फसाइजिंग दिस, एंड इन एवरी वीडियो लेसन आई हैव बीन मार्किंग आउट द कीवर्ड्स आल्सो। Any doubts, refer to all the video lessons that are there in the English Class 10 playlist. Okay, so please do that. If you will include the keywords, because every examiner, ICSE का checking pattern कैसा रहता है आंसर शीट का, that every examiner is given a list of keywords. Those keywords should be there as part of your answer. The entire idea of this exercise that I'm doing, of actually collating the questions and putting it out, is basically to help you get a grasp of what are the keywords that you need to include, and also some nice interesting phrases which are part of my video lesson. तो कि आप उसको करेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाएगा। आपको एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में 2 घंटे में सोचने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। इट विल कम आउट इन ऑटो मोड। ओके, तो बी इन ऑटो पायलट मोड एज फार एज द आंसर time is concerned during those 2 hours on the day of your English literature exam. This exercise is basically to help you do that only. Okay, so now let's get to the poems, the 5 poems, जिसके कि मैं 5 प्रश्न बताऊंगा. So 25 questions in all. What you should do is that since we are now in mid-January, you have 1 month to go to mid-February, 20 lessons, 20 stories and poems. Every day एक पोएम या स्टोरी का आप ये आंसर को लिख के एक नोटबुक पे लिख लीजिए, ओके, उसको पढ़ लीजिए, लिखते वक्त ही आपको एक तरह से याद हो जाएगा. रेफर टू द वीडियो लेसन इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट्स, ओके. सो 20 दिन में ये खत्म हो जाएंगे. देन अनदर 10 days you have got for Merchant of Venice. So English literature का entire paper in which you can actually score 100 on 100 is done between now and the 14th 15th of February तक पूरा खत्म हो जाएगा. So it's a cool life. So nothing to stress about. Another thing, a lot of students are telling me, please provide us with the answers. Sorry, I will not do spoon feeding. I have taken a lot of effort in the video lessons to actually put out all the material. Listen to the video lessons, write it out yourself, be original. Don't believe in this Xerox culture. Don't do that. It won't help you. It won't help any one of you. So do this. They are not very complicated. These are all lessons and poems, stories and poems which you have done already. So it's not like rocket science that you're getting into. Okay, now let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the 5 poems for which I am giving you the 5 questions each. I am starting with, not in any particular order, I am starting with Above Ben Adam, okay, which is one of the poems I think could possibly come this time. It's a very feel-good poem. In a world and atmosphere of negativity, it helps to have some good things being spoken about. The first question, what was the reason for the angel visiting Ben Adam? So what you need to do is to get straight to the reason. What is the reason why the angel is there? What does the angel look like? What is the whole atmosphere in which the angel comes? But primarily in the first paragraph itself, you need to mention what is the reason why the angel is visiting Ben Adam and describe the atmosphere. This will usually be for a 3 marks. So you need to write a meaty 2-3 paragraphs for it, and ensure that you always have all the key phrases. That is something which is very, very important in this keywords in this entire poem, which is something which you always need to take care of, because for instance the deep dream of peace is one of the key phrases which you need to use. Again, moonlight in his room, okay, the book of gold in which the angel is writing, the lily in bloom, okay, what writest thou, the question that was asked, the names of those who love the Lord, you know. So that the angel is trying to collate the names of people who love the Lord. So that's the reason. But apart from writing the reason, which you would do right away, you also build the atmosphere of what is the atmosphere in which the angel was visiting the room. So you are what it helps you is that if you do that, if you put all your keywords in one place, it will help you when you, if such a question or something related to this kind of a query comes in your examination paper. Okay. The second question, describe the effect of moonlight in Ben Adam's room. Again, pretty much you need to talk about making it rich like a lily in bloom. The moonlight in this thing, I have referred to the kind of metaphors that have been used. What does the moonlight kind of mean? It actually means the kind of goodness in his room, the kind of positive cheer that is being spread. All those things you need to mention in this particular answer. Okay, but keep it as simple and straight as possible. What traits of Ben Adam are visible to us through the poem? What is a lesson students like you learn from it? This is an important question. What are the traits? The goodness of the heart, the fact that, you know, he wants to be one as someone who loves his fellow beings. So the goodness of Ben Adam is something, and that is something students like you can also learn from, something that you don't need to be, you know, spiteful or disliking or having hate for somebody, but basically love everybody, because that's what really spreads positive cheer in the world around us, and that it will help mankind in general. And that is the kind of message and the moral lesson message that this poem gives us, and the character of Ben Adam gives us. That is something which you need to write about. What makes the poem seem as if it belonged to the realm of the supernatural? Now, what are the supernatural elements in this poem? Those key phrases again you need to write about, you know, because angel is something which people believe may not really exist. So it may, the whole thing may be just a realm of the imagination of Ben Adam. The whole thing about the book of gold, the fact that, you know, the presence in his room, the kind of questions that the angel asked, the query, the answer that Ben Adam gives. So you get the feeling that the whole thing is actually in the realm of the supernatural and not something which is real. Also, by creating such a situation, Lay Hunt, if he had actually put out this poem in a very simple kind of manner, almost as if it's a straight story about, say, a teacher and a student, or a parent and a child, the messaging would not have been so effective. But by creating this kind of an atmosphere that a child is actually in his room and then an angel comes and then there is a lot of light radiating all over, you create an atmosphere in which this kind of a message of goodness can be given, and that actually makes it that much more effective. So the entire जो समा जो बांधा है ले हंट ने इस पोएम में, इस कविता में, उसकी वजह से भी कविता का जो एक असर है, एक इफेक्ट है, that gets that much more pronounced. So that is another thing. What did the angel write? Why did it again come the next night? Now this is a very straight factual question which is being asked. So you need to write about what did the angel come, what was the purpose of the angel coming, then it going back, and the next day it comes back to tell him that among the names that love of God had blessed, Ben Adam's name led all the rest, that his name was right on top. So if you prepare these 5 answers, prepare 2-3 lines, short paragraphs of this, Ben Adam will be kind of taken care of, because उससे क्या होगा, आपको सारे keywords याद रहेंगे, जो basically जो थोड़ा सा आपको explanation या summary देना होगा, analysis देना होगा, वो भी आपको पूरी तरह से याद होगा. Any doubts, as I said, refer to the video lesson. Okay. Now let's go to after Blenheim. Okay, the story of old Caspar and his 2 grandchildren. Okay. The first question, how is old Caspar's character different from his grandchildren? Now this is a very important question, because that is really the essence of the poem, about how old Caspar is still rooted. He doesn't ask questions. He's not of a questioning nature. I've described and explained this in detail in the video lesson. Please refer to it. So the entire thing, that while his 2 grandchildren, Peterkin and Wilhelmine, are actually very questioning kind of grandchildren, old Caspar is someone, he has been told that it was a famous victory, and he just keeps repeating it, even though 2 reasons, even though his own family had suffered in the war, and number 2, he still does not know what did the war actually achieve. But he has been told that it was a great victory, it was a famous victory. He just he just accepts it. So this is an important question about how old Caspar's character is very different from the character of his 2 grandchildren. Give reasons, may again mark out the keywords like these kind of things: famous victory, great victory, and what did the 2 grandchildren say, the way Peterkin and Wilhelmine actually question their grandfather. Second question, why do you think the sight was shocking even after the battle was won? Because again here you need to mark out the keywords from the poem, where it talks about how it was a shocking sight, that 1,000 bodies lay there rotting in the sun. Also the fact that after the war was fought, there were a lot of newborn babies had died, and despite that it was being referred to as a famous victory. So these keywords like a shocking sight, lay rotting in the sun, 1,000 bodies here, newborn baby died, all these need to be mentioned in your answer. Weave it in your answer while you are essentially explaining why the sight was shocking. Okay, the sight was shocking is something which has been taken from the poem itself. Okay, what was the occupation of old Caspar? He was obviously a farmer, because that's what is explained right in the beginning of the poem. How do you know about his occupation? Again, what is expected here is the keywords. So remember, as I said right at the beginning, ये सबसे ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है कि आप कीवर्ड्स को हर कविता, हर स्टोरी में, हर कहानी में याद करें. इसकी बात कर रहे हैं कि कॉटेज डोर है, और इसके साथ साथ ये भी कहा गया है कि ओल्ड कैस्पर हिमसेल्फ हैड फाउंड मेनी a skull like that when he was also working in the field. So he was obviously a farmer who lived in a cottage next to a field which is very near to a rivulet. Who was praised for their success, and in what did the little children understand why the winners were praised? So Prince Eugene and the Duke of Marlborough, उनकी भी जो इतिहास है उसके बारे में भी मैंने वीडियो लेसन में उसका भी मेंशन किया है. Please refer to that. And they were praised for their success, but the little children obviously did not understand why old Caspar was actually praising them, because of at the same time the information that old Caspar had given to their grandchildren, that all these atrocities had been committed, so much of damage, so much of destruction, so much of loss to life and property had happened at that time, despite which it was being described as a famous victory. So they were not really in sync with the thought process of the grandfather. Okay, so that is as far as question number 4 is concerned. Question number 5, explain how the poet succeeds in creating an atmosphere of destruction caused by war in the poem. Here you need to mention all that happens to old Casper's own family. What is there about his father living in Blenheim, burnt his dwelling to the ground. Please include these key phrases. और जब भी आप key words को और key phrases को poem से quote करें, उसको double quotes में डाल दें. That will really impress the examiner because that will show that आपको poem अच्छी तरह से याद है, अच्छी तरह से आपने उसको grasp किया है. He was forced to fly with his wife and child. He fled. Nor he had where to rest his head. तो आप इन सभी keywords को include कीजिए. Childing mother. तो इससे एक तरह से atmosphere of terror and havoc and destruction को describe किया है. Again here the shocking sight, the 1,000 bodies that lay rotting in the sun. तो आप इन सभी phrases को include कीजिए, keywords को आप अपने उत्तर में include कीजिए. Now let's go to I know why the caged bird sings. Okay. Very effective poem, operates at various levels, lot of layering in the poem, very fascinating poem. The first question, what privileges does the free bird have that the caged bird does not have? Okay, so isme again you need to bring out the contrast between the free bird and the caged bird. Okay, that is something which you need to do in this particular poem. Okay, that it can go this thing, it can eat its worms, it can fetch its own food, whereas the caged bird cannot. Its world is limited to the very small cage in which it is kind of locked inside. So in that sense, it does not have any privileges, whereas the free bird can actually own the entire sky. It can dive down and announce to the world as though the entire sky is its domain. What is meant by the fearful trill and the grave of dreams? So these are two phrases again which have been pointed out. Fearful trill meaning referring to the shrill voice of the caged bird. Okay, then of course then the other phrase which has been used is that of the grave of dreams, which kind of weighs you down by the fact that it is imprisoned inside the cage. So you need to talk about it. Again, this is something which we have described in detail in the video lesson. Please refer to that in order to be able to explain it in great detail. Then the third question, what does the caged bird sing about? Where is the song heard? It's heard on the distant hills. It talks about its longing for freedom, and that is how Maya Angelou actually brings out this entire contrast between the free bird and the caged bird, and therefore she talks about the emphasis on freedom and the desire for independence and freedom. And she brings it out through the caged bird. So you need to talk about first about directly the question, and uske baad jo explanation or analysis dena hai, that you keep in the second and the third paragraph. What is the message of the poem? This is important again because as I explained in the video lesson, it operates at different levels about gender equality, about human rights, because Maya Angelou was also a civil rights activist in the US. So you need to talk about what is the messaging of the poem. First talk about the birds in the first paragraph and then talk about these 2-3 different kind of explanations which Maya Angelou is actually trying to bring out through these two characters of the free bird and the caged bird. What is the significance of the phrase bars of rage? Mention 2 things that the other bird can think of. Again, bars of rage is the bars of the cage in which it is there. It is obviously angry because it is kind of imprisoned inside the particular cage. Mention 2 things that the other bird can think of. Now here you talk about both the free bird as well as the caged bird. Okay, the bars of rage of course refers to the caged bird. The free bird can think about getting its breakfast, it can talk in the form of worms, it can talk about, think about owning the entire sky, whereas the caged bird can only think about having freedom. So its desire is limited to yearning for a freedom instead of being trapped inside that cage where it is actually even having to depend on food on someone else's charity. It is at someone's mercy, as opposed to the free bird which can name the sky as its own. Okay, so the bars of rage refers to the anger and the rage that is developing inside the caged bird because it is not a free creature. Then let's come to the patriot. Now the first question is, what change has taken place? What change has taken place at the rooftops? Again, very important because the contrast between what happened a year ago and the contrast which has happened now, that is something which you need to bring out again using the keywords about how the house roofs were kind of heaving and swaying a year ago, the church spires, and now you have only people sitting there who cannot move. So there is a sense of complete quiet at this point in time, as opposed to 1 year back when everything seemed to, the house roofs used to almost heave and sway. So you need to bring that out again using the keywords. Explain, Alak, it was I who leaped at the sun. This is again something which we have done in great detail in the video lesson about how he was the one who leaped at the sun. He was the one who had done something unimaginable for his country, something which the countrymen should have been proud of. So that is something which you need to bring out the literal meaning as well as the metaphorical meaning of, it was I who leaped at the sun. What does the scaffold refer to? Yes, again somewhere a public hanging place where he will be executed, where he is being taken for. So you need to write those kind of phrases about at the shambles gate. Please include that, the scaffold where it is erected, and do you feel he has committed any crime? Now we are not told about the nature of the crime, but the poet obviously feels, the narrator, the speaker obviously feels that he is being wrongly been convicted of a crime which he probably did not, and he actually did a lot for the country. That's what the narrator feels. As far as we are concerned, it obviously we are told about the change which has really taken place between 1 year ago and what has happened 1 year back, but at no stage we are told about what has really happened because of which he is being sentenced to death. Okay, so the scaffold referred to, the poet, the narrator also gives a sense that he has done something wrong, though he feels that once he leaves this world, he would actually be at God's mercy, and that would probably be a better place for him to live in. Okay, what does the poet want to convey through the poem? The poet wants to convey the fact that how things can change, how fortunes can change. I refer to in the poem about the historical figures who have also been executed in a similar way. For instance, Benito Mussolini. So, people who are feted and celebrated by the country, after some time, the same people, the country men, are actually a fickle-minded lot. They can completely change your opinion after a certain period of time. So the poet wants to convey that nothing is permanent, number one. Number two, that a hero can actually be completely sentenced to ignominy, like in this case, the speaker, the narrator is being done. So he basically wants to talk about that nothing is permanent and that things could actually change over a period of time. What is the speaker's personal opinion about his punishment? How would he be repaid by God and for what? This is something which I just spoke about. The speaker himself feels that he has been kind of over punished, that he did not deserve this kind of a punishment, but he feels that once he goes out, he would actually be in a better place because he would be in the company of God, and there he would actually get mercy and he would be in better hands. So that is something which he believes in. The last poem in this particular video lesson that we would look at is the Cold Within. Now, Cold Within, the first question, what character traits would you associate with the first person and the next person? Now, the Cold Within, one thing that you need to be very, very clear about and very particular about is the order. The order of the 6 people who are sitting around the dying fire. So, I will just read out the order. The first is a white woman, because here, they say she held hers back. So the first one is obviously a woman. The second one is someone who is very dogmatic and very rigid about the church. So a very religious minded person. The third is a poor man. The fourth is the rich man. The fifth is the black man. And the sixth is the selfish man. Of these, the fifth man, the black man questions related come, the selfish man, the opportunist related questions come, and the poor and the rich man questions also come. So just be very clear that you know the characteristics of each of the 6 persons who are sitting around the dying fire, and they will also test you the order, which is why I said you need to remember the order, because they may just ask you, they may give you some stanzas, maybe the first stanza, and they may ask you why was the third person or the fourth person reluctant to give his log of wood to the dying fire. So it's very important for you not to make a mistake about the order in which the 6 people are sitting around the dog fire. उसके बारे में आप गलती मत कीजिए. आप वो ऑर्डर ऑफ लोगों का ऑर्डर, जिस ऑर्डर में उनके बारे में चर्चा की गई है, उनका वर्णन किया गया है, उसके बारे में आप जरूर ध्यान रखिएगा. ओके, सो व्हाट कैरेक्टर ट्रेट्स वुड यू एसोसिएट विद द फर्स्ट पर्सन and the next person? तो इसका मतलब क्या कि the white woman and the second person who is a person who is very rigid about the church, about his religious belief, उसके बारे में पूछा गया है, उनके कैरेक्टर के बारे में पूछा गया है. तो पहली जो औरत है उसका बारे में तो ये है that obviously she is a white woman who believes in racism, she is a racist person, so she does not want to give the log of wood to somebody because उस dying fire के around एक a black man is also sitting, so she does not want to do. So it shows that she is a racist person, someone who is who will not wanting to give the fire log of wood just because there is a black man. It will also help save a black man's life. So that is something, a character trait. Dusra, the someone who is rigid about the church, again somebody because he sees in that group someone who is not from the same religious faith or order and therefore he does not want to give his log of wood. तो ये character traits उनके बारे में पता चलते हैं. Again, as I have been keeping on stressing, I have been stressing, प्लीज इंक्लूड द कीवर्ड्स, एटलीस्ट एक या दो कीवर्ड्स आप जरूर दोनों के बारे में इसमें इंक्लूड कीजिए. यू नो, दूसरा प्रश्न है, व्हाई वुडंट द थर्ड मैन पुट हिज पीस ऑफ लॉग इन द डाइंग फायर? थर्ड पर्सन इज द पुअर मैन. इसमें जरूर आप यू इंक्लूड द कीवर्ड्स लाइक ही गेव हिज कोट अ हिच, है आइडल रिच, वार्म द आइडल रिच. तो उसके बारे में बताइए ना, अगेन किस वजह से वे अपना log of wood is not willing to put into the dying fire. What did the black man see in his piece of wood? Now black man is the reverse racism, just because he also hates the white person and he thinks this is his opportunity to take revenge. So that is his justification for not putting his log of wood in the dying fire. तो उसके बारे में, तो that's what I said, if cold within आता है तो basically आपको एक एक कैरेक्टर के बारे में प्रश्न जरूर पूछा जाएगा. सो प्लीज प्रिपेयर ए पैराग्राफ ईच ऑन ईच ऑफ द पर्सन इंक्लूडिंग द कीवर्ड्स एंड ए बिट ऑफ द एक्सप्लेनेशन एंड एनालिसिस व्हिच इज देयर इन द 2-part कोल्ड विद इन के बारे में जो वीडियो लेसन किया है. तो उसके बारे में आप ध्यान दीजिए. कोल्ड विद इन को अच्छी तरह से प्लीज प्रिपेयर, इसके इस बारे आने के चांसेस काफी हैं. चौथा प्रश्न, हु अमंग द गैदरिंग वाज एन अपॉर्चुनिस्ट? हाउ कैन यू से सो? Of course, all of them are in a sense opportunists, but the last person seems to be the selfish man. And उसके बारे में कहा गया है the last man of this forlorn group. You know, forlorn as in referring to a very hopeless kind of group, जिसका कोई कोई उम्मीद ही नहीं है. Because उसके बारे में कहा गया है that he did not accept for gain unless something benefited him. वह किसी का भी भला करने को तैयार नहीं होता था and वो उन्हीं को देता था जो वापस उसको कुछ वापस में देते थे. और इसी तरह से उसने अपना जिंदगी पूरा व्यतीत किया था, उसने अपना जिंदगी उसी तरह से गुजारा था. तो ही इज रियली द अपॉर्चुनिस्ट और द सेल्फिश मैन इन दिस ग्रुप. बट इन ए सेंस इनफैक्ट द अदर 5 आर आल्सो इक्वली सेल्फिश, बट इसके बारे में खास तौर पे अपॉर्चुनिस्ट कहा गया है. वुड यू से दैट द कोल्ड विदिन इज एन एप्ट टाइटल फॉर दिस पोएम? इसके बारे में मैंने काफी विस्तार से बताया है कि टाइटल का जस्टिफिकेशन कैसा किया जाए. टाइटल का जस्टिफिकेशन काफी पोएम्स में आपसे पूछा जा सकता है. स्टोरीज में जैसे फॉर इंस्टेंस एन एंजल इन डिस्गाइज में पूछा जा सकता है. यहां पर कोल्ड विदिन के बारे में पूछा जा सकता है. इसके साथ साथ टेलीविजन के बारे में, ऑफ कोर्स वो तो सीधा पोएम है, उसके बारे में तो पूछा जा सकता है. ए फेस इन द डार्क के बारे में पूछा सकता है. द लिटिल मैच गर्ल के बारे में पूछा है. ब्लू बीट के बारे में पूछा जा सकता है. तो दीज आर सम वेयर द टाइटल के बारे में जस्टिफिकेशन पूछा जा सकता है. और इसमें तो कोल्ड विद इन के बारे में तो आपको लिखने को बहुत कुछ है, बिकॉज यू विल रेफर टू द स्ट्रेट मीनिंग ऑफ द कोल्ड विद इन की ठंड थी इसलिए 6 लोग उसके आग के आसपास बैठे थे. इसके साथ जो दूसरा जो डीपर जो मेटाफोरिकल मीनिंग है, जिसका कि मैंने पूरा विस्तार से समझाया है वीडियो लेसन के भाग 1 और भाग 2 में, खासतौर से भाग 2 में, उसमें आप सुनेंगे तो पूरी तरह से यू विल गेट रियल गुड मीटी words and phrases which you should and can you include in your answer, because that will only make your answer sound and read that much better. तो ये तो हो गया 5 poems. I will do the other 5 poems in another video lesson, जो बाकी के 5 poems है. इसके साथ साथ स्टोरीज को भी 2 भागों में करेंगे, ताकि if you prepare this question and answers you would be well prepared for each of the 20 poems and stories which are part of the Treasure Trove English Literature Exam 2 in the ICSE Class 10 board exam. Thank you very much for watching.